If you are thinking about moving to North Carolina and considering Durham as an option for your family, this video is for you. Stick around.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back. I'm Zach. This is my beautiful wife, Cindy. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button in the corner. You can also hit the bell to be notified of every time we release a new video. That number on the screen, that is our number. We put it there because we are licensed real estate agents in the area, which means as much as we love to make these videos for you, we love to help you with your real estate needs even more. So if you got questions about the area, questions about real estate in the area, we love to chat with you. So feel free to reach out. Like Cindy said, if you hear all those, it is like acorns. There's a lot of acorns this year,
So many.
which according to the Farmer's Almanac means it will be a rough winter. But anyway, that's besides the point. As Cindy said, the video today is on Durham, and we're trying to answer the question, is Durham a family-friendly area? So I know in other videos we talk about Cary and Holly Springs and Apex and Wake Forest, and we talk about them in a family-friendly sense. Today we're going to be talking about Durham. So with that being said, let's get after it.
So the first thing we're going to hit is what most people are probably wondering the most about, and that is schools. So when you're moving to a new area and you have kids that are school age, that's always a really big concern that people have when they call us. So when you're kind of researching online, you might have seen some of the district of Durham schools. Maybe they don't perform as highly as some of the surrounding areas, like in the Wake County area and things like that. So the Durham schools, also, Durham is a city, but it also lies within a county called Durham, ironically. So it's Durham County Public Schools. So when you kind of look them up, the ratings maybe aren't great, but something to keep in mind is there is a huge variety of school options in Durham that, you know, are also options in other parts of the state, but Durham actually has the highest amount of charter schools in North Carolina. And I think North Carolina in general has more charter schools than most other states in the U.S. So there's a good chance Durham might have the most charter schools of anywhere ever. Who knows? I don't know for sure, but kind of seems like it.
It's a big claim.
Big claim, yeah. Don't quote me on it for sure, but it's definitely a lot of charter schools in Durham. And what a charter school is it's a public option, but it's not tied to a district, and it's more state funded versus being like additionally funded by the district. So it's not run by Durham County, but it lies within Durham County. So a lot of people end up opting for those options. If that's something you're kind of curious about, we do have a whole separate video on school options in the triangle about, you know, the differences between charter schools and public and private and all of that kind of thing. So definitely check that out. But Durham just has a lot of options. And in addition to those charter schools, we also have some really good private schools in the area as well to consider. Yeah.
And, you know, on the school question, we have a school consulting company that we've partnered with, and they're able to dive down. You know, I mean, on a lot of these Zoom calls with folks moving into the area, we'll talk about kind of the 30,000 foot view of the school systems and the different options available. But the school consulting company, they'll go down into the nitty gritty of each individual school and the pros and cons of those schools and the pros and cons of those options. And so if you're interested in that, or if you're moving to the area and schools are a big deal to you, and if you have kids that probably are, we'd love to connect you with them. So, but yeah, schools in Durham, there's a lot of choice.
Yeah.
So a lot of options. All right, the next thing on the list that makes Durham a family-friendly area is the large amount of things to do in the area for kids. So one thing we've talked about in other videos, and we'll talk about it here, is the Museum of Life and Science in Durham. So we've had folks come into town and they visit it, and they'll text me and say, that was the best museum I've ever been to. I mean, the outdoor exhibits for kids are just incredible. I mean, they truly are. Like they're incredible. Our kids go probably twice a week, honestly, on most weeks, and just love it. It's a great environment. Outside of that, you have downtown activities that are great for kids. You have the Durham Bulls, who just won the national championship again this year for AAA. So it's a really big deal. And then you also have the Durham Performing Arts Center, also known as the DPAC, that is downtown. The DPAC gets shows in like Frozen, Elf the Musical is coming in this year. Yeah. Different Disney shows come in. I mean, it's a lot of different shows that, you know, some are family friendly and you can take your kids to, and it's just a neat place.
It's a beautiful theater, and
it is.
It's got all off-Broadway production, so it's like really high quality stuff. It's not just like some random people from Durham came together to do Frozen. You know, it's like, you know, traveling. People.
Legitimate.
Yeah, really good. Really good stuff.
And then also Durham has the Eno River State Park, which I mean, in some of these other videos, we give Durham a hard time when it comes to the park systems, and I stand by that. You know, places like Cary, Apex, Wake Forest just have better city parks than Durham does. But the Eno River State Park it's a nice place. Yeah. There's a lot of there's trails, it's just nice. And so Durham has those options available. It's just it's different than what you might find in like the Cary or an Apex or Wake Forest.
Right. Yeah, we have parks here, so it's not that we don't have parks, but we've just kind of found that most of them are smaller, or the equipment just hasn't been updated in a really long time. There's been a few parks that are starting to like redo the equipment, so I'm really excited about that for Durham, but it was like much needed a long time ago. So it's kind of disappointing it took as long as it has to like get some new equipment at some of the parks. So I'm hoping that we see a trend of like getting things to be more updated, but we'll see what happens with the park system in Durham. It's not that they're like dirty or anything like that. They're just kind of small and like just underwhelming, I think. Like if you go to like some of the parks in Wake County, they're huge and like have amazing equipment. A lot of them have splash pads attached to them and all that. And in Durham, you just don't find as much of that. Like you'll find places that are fun for like an hour or less.
But on the flip side, like in this video, you know, Durham has its own pros, right? Like the Cary doesn't have a DPAC or the Durham Bulls, and so there's different things you get in Durham, different strengths you have in Durham that aren't necessarily in other areas. So there's still plenty to do for families here.
So the third thing on our list is neighborhoods in Durham. So things that I really like about growing up, and I grew up and live in Durham. We still kind of live in Durham. We live in Durham County now. So something I really like about it is just since Durham has kind of been established, I feel like for longer as a whole than like Wake Forest or Apex and stuff like that. The neighborhoods are just more mature and established. So I feel like it's a little, overall, it can feel a lot less cookie cutter and have a lot more greenery and trees nearby. Whereas like sometimes in the newer neighborhoods, they just kind of come in and clear cut everything. And they have their own pros to those newer neighborhoods too, because they tend to have really nice amenities. But some of these older neighborhoods in Durham have really tall trees, like what's behind us, which you just can't find in a lot of other parts of the Triangle. And our kids love to play outside all the time. They just want to be outside all the time. So it's really nice to have all these trees to keep us shaded, to play in the yard, so it's not the sun blasting down on you, and it's like peaceful to hear the birds and the crickets and frogs and everything like that you get. So I really like that. Some of our favorite neighborhoods in Durham, and neighborhoods that we always tell people to check out when they come into the area, would be places like Woodcroft, Hope Valley, Crowsdale, Trayburn. Those are the big ones that we always tell people to consider driving through. They're great neighborhoods.
All right. The last thing on the list is Duke Hospital. So it's weird to put a hospital on the list for what makes an area family friendly. The reason we do that is I personally think that it's nice and it brings me peace of mind to know that one of the top hospitals in the country, really in the world, is located just a few minutes away from us. And so if you look at, I think U.S. News ranked Duke Hospital as 11th in the country for adults, 9th in the country for pediatric care. And so it's just, I don't know, it just brings peace of mind to know that if something were to happen to one of us or something were to happen to one of our kids, that one of the best hospitals in the world is just a few minutes down the road. And so I think that goes into making an area family friendly, and Duke Hospital is definitely up there. So and then the last thing I add, I know I said that was the last thing, but the last thing I'll add, I'll talk a little bit about crime. we get questions about crime in Durham, and there was a study that just came out that actually ranked Cary as the safest city in the country. It ranked Durham number 61 on that list. And just to kind of give you a little bit of perspective of where 61 falls. So right around there was Dallas, Austin, and Denver. They were kind of all bunched together on that list. So if you feel safe in those areas, you'll feel safe in Durham. What I tell people, I would never raise my family in an area that I felt was unsafe. And so we've lived in Durham, at least in Durham County, which we still do. We've lived in the city ever since we've been married. And so I've always felt safe in Durham.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like to address that because that's always a question we get. But all in all, I think Durham is definitely a family-friendly place. It doesn't always top the list for places like Cary and Apex and Wake Forest. It has its own strengths. It has its own pros compared to those areas. It doesn't have the suburbia feel that you get in a lot of those areas, but it still has its own unique pros and unique strengths.
Definitely. And a lot better restaurant options.
It's true.
If you are a foodie, Durham is where you need to live, for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely the foodie city of the Triangle, I would say.
For sure.
Yeah. But if you like this video, feel free to check out our others. We got a ton of videos on Durham, a ton of videos on the other surrounding areas in the Triangle. If you have not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button in the corner. And like I said earlier, that number on the screen, that is our number. We're the ones that answer those phone calls and those text messages. So if you got questions about the area, questions about real estate in the area, we'd love to chat with you. So feel free to reach out. And you can also find us on social media.
Yep. If you are an Instagram user or Facebook user, you can find us at the Honeycut Realtors, or you can go to our website, honeycutrealtors.com, and we'd love to hear from you there.
Yeah, absolutely. And my email is below as well, so you can hit us up via email if that's easier for you as well. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we will see y'all next time.